following is a special Wayne Hills television sports presentation.
Hello and welcome to Teaneck High School for today's North 1 Group 3 first round matchup between the 13th-seeded Wayne Hills Patriots and the 4th-seeded Teaneck Highwaymen. I'm John Vittas here with Joe Rapp. So Joe, let's get right into it. First question, Wayne Hills, like I mentioned, is the 13th seed. Teaneck's the 4th seed, so obviously Teaneck's the heavy favorite coming in here. So what does Wayne Hills have to do to overcome that disadvantage? And like I also want to mention is that Hills only has a 6-man rotation, so they don't have anyone coming off the bench. This Teaneck team looks very deep. So what does Wayne Hills have to do to overcome those two factors?
Well, John, those 6 guys, they got to come out with as much intensity as possible. I mean, they got to go for every loose ball, and they got to go back to fundamentals. I mean, make the right pass, make every layup if they can.
Now this is playoff time. It's the first round of the state playoffs. Hills really hasn't had any meaningful games in a while, probably 2-3 weeks since they played a county game. So this is their first playoff game in a while, and this is where the big-time performers step up. They have a few seniors on this team. Who would you say is your key player for tonight?
I think it's Mike Quinn because Teaneck's best player, Chris Jones, who scored, I believe, 32 points off of Wayne Hills earlier in the season, is out. So Mike Quinn can match his athleticism, but since he's out, I think Quinn will have the advantage up front.
No, that's a good point. I'm going to take Chris Fonte, the big man down low for Wayne Hills. Whenever the Patriots go into a basketball game, the one advantage they always have is the size of Chris Fonte. He comes in at 6'7", 300 pounds. He's just a monster down low. And he's had some butterfingers in some tough games, in big games, in front of big crowds, and meaningful contests. So I think for him, if he can come out and have a solid game, maybe put 20 points on the board, Wayne Hills is going to be well on their way to pulling out the win. So that leads me to my last question. Can they pull out the win and move on to the quarterfinals?
Well, they can pull out the win, but it's going to be extremely tough. I mean, Teaneck's just a better overall team than Wayne Hills is, but it'll be close. But I think Teaneck will come out in the end.
All right, well, stay tuned because we're going to find out if Wayne Hills can pull the upset after this.
I've had Anthony Scadillo in baseball for a few years now. He's a pretty good runner on the base pass, but every now and again, he gets caught stealing.
Scadillo, come back here.
Wayne Hills with head coach Dr. James Catalano, assistant coaches John Goldstein and Kevin Batty. Starting at guard, number 12, Mike Quinn. At guard, number 35, Matt Heskins. At guard, number 42, Sam Pressler. At guard, captain number 3, Joe Brandel. And at center, captain number 50, Chris Fonte. And for your Highwaymen with head coach Curtis March, assistant coaches Dan Jones, Michael Malone, Kelvin Reese, and Keli Brevard. Starting at guard, number 5, Chris Jones. At forward, number 20, Brandon Davis. At center, number 42, Will Thompson. At guard, captain number 22, Kyle Steinberger. And at guard, captain number 12, Owen Barnes. Tonight's officials are Chuck DePrima and Kevin Montalbano. And now please rise and remove your hats and join us for the playing of the national anthem.
All right, well, Joe, there's usually not too much drama in the opening lineups, but there was today.
Well, watching the warm-ups, I did not see number 5, Chris Jones, taking his layups, his warm-up game. And as soon as he got called in the starting lineup, I went into panic saying, wow, I just embarrassed myself on national television. John, please forgive me. And viewers at home, I just want to apologize to you.
Joe, no one's perfect, and it was believed by a lot of us that Chris Jones wouldn't be in the starting lineup tonight. There were a lot of rumors at school that their best player would be out for tonight due to injury. And starting lineups, he's here, so I don't know if Jones is going to be at 100% or if that rumor was just false, but he's in the starting lineup and ready to go. So here we go. We've just kicked things off here at Teaneck High School. Highwaymen in white, Patriots in black. Nice give and go down low to Joe Brandel, but it's taken away by Teaneck, and they're going to call a travel on the Teaneck center. That was number 42, William Thompson. So Brandel's going to inbound for Wayne Hills. Gets it down low to Heskins for the easy layup. We've seen Wayne Hills utilize that play all year, and it worked once again.
That's the call play Patriot, John. Like you said, all year it's been working. And I bet Matt Haskins has gotten plenty of points on that particular play.
Getting inside is Teaneck. That was number 12, Owen Barnes. So we're all tied up at 2. Each team opening things up with an easy layup. Brandel's handling the point. Teaneck in a man-to-man defense. Brandel finds Pressler down low. Couldn't get enough room. Quinn and Brandel working the guards for Wayne Hills. Height-wise, these teams are very evenly matched with the exception of Chris Fonte's got about 2 inches on the Teaneck center. Not as much as he's used to, but still with some type of an advantage. Of course, he's got this size advantage overall, being a Division I offensive lineman for Rutgers next year. Pressler getting inside. Triple team. Kicks it out to Brandel. Posts up Fonte. Fonte puts it up. No good. The follow by Pressler's no good. Fonte gets it back. Puts it up and in. So there's my key player, Chris Fonte, getting inside for the easy 2.
It's good to see Fonte very active early in this game because they're going to need him because, like you said, John, he has a distinct height advantage over his defender, so he's got to take advantage of that.
This is Barnes swinging things around for Teaneck. Here's Steinbergen working toward the white wing. Gets a pick from Thompson. Swings it to, that was Davis with the ball. It's now Chris Jones, their unexpected starter for tonight. Like Joe said, he scored over 30 points against Wayne Hills in their first matchup in the regular season. That was a hotly contested battle, went down the stretch, and Teaneck came away with the win, but that was one of Hills' better played games this year. And it was right here in this very same building, and Hills had a lot of confidence coming out of that one, thought they played well, and thought that that game would give them some type of advantage coming in here, of course knowing the opponent, and they feel like they're going to be able to pull out this win tonight if they play well. They trail by 2 right now. I'm sorry, they lead by 2 right now. 4-2, almost 3 minutes into the first quarter. And it's taken away from behind by Teaneck, and that's Owen Barnes once again picking the pocket of Sam Pressler and taking it back the other way to tie the game up at 4.
Can't turn the ball over, John. I mean, that was a silly pass by Matt Haskins.
But Pressler makes up for the turnover on the offensive end by drilling the 3 in the corner, and Teaneck better watch out because if Pressler gets hot, they can extend this lead in a hurry.
Yes, I believe his career high, well, season high this season is 22 points, and he just made every shot he took. I mean, I think he could have taken a full court shot and made every shot that game.
And
he looks like he's going to have a big game tonight, making that 3.
And Pressler's not afraid of the big stage. We saw him in the biggest game of the season against Wayne Valley in a hostile environment drop a lot of points, especially in the first half. Him and Matt Haskins kept them single-handedly alive in that game. And so Pressler's not afraid of the big stage, and he's not going to feel any nerves in games like this. So we can look for him and Pressler at least to not feel the pressure as Brandel gets inside. Couldn't get that layup to go, but he gets it back, lays it up, no good. Rebound goes to Teaneck. Hills has defenders back. Steinbergen's going to kick it out to Jones. Jones working on Heskins, gets inside, nice move, dishes it inside to William Thompson, who lays it in.
See, John, that's an example of penetrating and kicking the ball out to an open teammate, or in this case, under the paint. Wayne Hills does not have a player that can do that. I mean, they had Steve Locarica, Joe Russo the past couple years, but no player this year, Matt Heskins, Joe Brandel, can't penetrate and get into the paint.
Well, Hills missed an easy layup on their end, and then Teaneck came back on the fast break and couldn't get it to go. And Sam Pressler called a timeout as he was falling out of bounds, so a smart play by him to keep the ball in Wayne Hills' possession. But with 3:43 to go here in the first quarter, Hills trails Teaneck by a score of 7-6. We'll be back with the conclusion of the first quarter after this.
And here comes Ricky off to a good start with the salad and Elmu milk. He's going for the nacho cheese chips. Oh, and he puts them back and goes for the classics. An interesting choice there.
Looks like he wants to eat more healthy today, John. And now it looks like he's going to get a cookie.
Oatmeal.
Oh, baby, that's the way the cookie crumbles. It's nacho cheese, though.
Matt Heskins is going to inbound the ball for Wayne Hills. Teaneck in a full court press for the first time this evening. Brandel breaks it easily. He's going to dribble it up one-on-one. Working on Barnes. Brandel gets inside, puts it up and in. Nice inside move by Joe Brandel, and laid it in, and Hills regains the lead.
Teaneck not really helping out on defense after Joe Brandel breaking the press. You're going to have to do a better job of that because Joe Brandel, Sam Pressler, Matt Heskins will do that all day.
Joe Brandel sliced through the defense there and gave Wayne Hills the 9-6 advantage. 3 minutes to go in the first. Heskins swings it to Pressler. Back to Matt. Joe Brandel working on Barnes. Here comes Brandel again. Hills in their motion offense, throwing a lot of screens at Teaneck. Pressler wide open again for three. No good this time. Rebounded by Fonte. Kicks it out to Quinn, who was open, but he gave it back to Brandel. Brandel, a long three-pointer, rattles out. Offensive board to Fonte. He gets stuffed by Teaneck. They battle for it. Fonte's able to get it back to Brandel. Brandel puts up the 12-foot floater. No good. Rebounded by Barnes and Teaneck. Here they come. 2-on-1. Pressler trying to get back. Lays it up. No good. Pressler comes away with the rebound. Hills has numbers coming back the other way. Heskins has it down low. Gets it to Fonte for the easy layup. Nice dish from Matt Heskins, and Fonte finished at the other end, and Teaneck takes a timeout.
And you see the fist pump from Matt Heskins after that dish shot. That's a great pass, and Hills starting off the game on a great run.
Well, Sam Pressler hitting threes and Matt Heskins dropping dimes, and this Wayne Hills offense looks really good so far here in the early going. They're coming out firing on all cylinders. This team looks really good. It's the best I've seen them play in a while.
And it's good to see them get points in the paint. I mean, 8 of their 11 points have been in the paint, been layups, so they can keep that up. They're very hard to beat.
I mean, I've been impressed so far with this team, with this Wayne Hills team. Like I said, they don't have much depth, so we'll see how their conditioning holds up late in the game. But Teaneck's defense hasn't been there. You would expect a high-octane offense, end-to-end game would favor Teaneck having the numbers off depth-wise and probably a little bit more athletic than Wayne Hills, especially at the center position. You would expect them to take advantage of that in a fast break type of game, but Wayne Hills has had the advantage finishing at the rim so far. Teaneck hasn't been able to do so, as they feel they should have gotten some foul calls. Barnes misses the three, rebounded by Quinn, who gives it out to Heskins, who's going to slow things up with 2 minutes to go here in the first. Wayne Hills has stayed with the same starting five this whole first quarter. Heskins working on Jones. Quinn swings it to Heskins on the left wing. Back to Brandel up top. Barnes not giving Brandel anything to work with. Finds Fonte down low. Nice pass. Fonte puts it up. No good. But they're going to call a foul on Teaneck, so Chris Fonte's going to go to the line to try to extend this 5-point lead.
Foul number 22, Kyle Steinbergen, his first, team first. Shooting for Wayne Hills, number 50, Chris Fonte.
Fonte shooting his free throws a lot better in the second half of the season, as you just saw right there. I mean, I'm sure he works on it all day in practice if they're not running plays or anything, because teams can just foul him all day like Hack-a-Shack and just let him miss free throws, but if he makes them, they're in trouble.
Well, Joe, you make a good point. You know Fonte's going to get to the free throw line at least 8-10 times a game. Being the big presence that he is down low, you know he's going to have the ball in his hands, and they're going to try to foul him so he doesn't put in the easy layup. And he started the season out pretty poorly. I mean, he's not a great free throw shooter to begin with, but now most big guys aren't. He's improved his game in that respect. He definitely practices it a lot. And he's definitely gotten himself over 50%, which is, I mean, I guess you could handle that if you're Coach Catalano. Anything over 50% is going to be, you know, you could pretty much bank on at least 1 point going up on the board every time Fonte gets fouled. So he's improved that part of his game, and it's very important. But, of course, he doesn't want this to be his last game. So, I mean, his free throw shooting isn't going to matter if they lose this game, because this is really the last meaningful game of these seniors' careers if they lose. Steinbergen with the ball in his hands gets the pick from Davis. A three-point goal from number 22, Kyle Steinberger. So Hill's trying to break the press now. Brandel coming back the other way. Kicks it out to Heskins. Wide open, a long three from Matt Heskins. No good, rebounded by Teaneck. Here comes Barnes, who lost it for a second. Kicks it out to Steinberger. Couldn't get anything going. This is number 32, Jonathan Blue, in the game for the first time. Hands it back to Kyle Steinberger. Steinbergen pulls up from three. No good. Good job by Steinbergen to recognize the mismatch on Fonte, and he knew Fonte wasn't going to come out that far, so he pulled up from three, and it was uncontested, but he couldn't get it to go. Heskins weaving through Teaneck's defense. 10 seconds to go here in the first. They're isolating Heskins. Quinn comes out to the free throw line. Tries to make a move. Kicks it out to Brandel. Long two is no good. Brandel gets his own board. Puts it up at the buzzer. No good. So that'll do it for the first quarter of action, with Wayne Hills leading Teaneck by a score of 12-9.
Yeah, so like I said in the pregame, John, they came out with intensity, and that's what they need to do if they're going to win this game. I mean, they're up 12-9 right now. I mean, Joe Brandel, their leading scorer, has got to get going, you know.
Well, it's a good first quarter for the Patriots of Wayne Hills. They lead Teaneck by a score of 12-9. We'll be back with the second quarter after this.
From the day we arrived on this planet, we had plenty of wars to be won. There was so much to see that could never be seen, much to do I had never been done. It's the circle of life, and it moves us all through the power and our through the final door, till we find our way through the path unwinding. It's the circle of life.
Welcome back to Teaneck High School in Teaneck, New Jersey for this state playoff game between the Wayne Hills Patriots and the Teaneck Highwaymen. I'm John Vittas, joined here by Joe Rapp. We get the second quarter kicked off. Teaneck with the ball, moving from right to left. Wayne Hills leading Teaneck by a score of 12-9. Both teams playing a man-to-man here in the early going. Neither team's using their bench too much. Hills hasn't used anyone off the bench. The only guy they would put in at all is Matt DeBlock. Brandel with that board. Some good ball handling moves to get inside, get some numbers. Goes up for the layup, high arcing layup, no good. Long rebound will go out of bounds back to Teaneck, as they're going to get a sub in here. That's number 3, Justin Hodge, coming in. So 30 seconds here into the second. Hodge is going to come right in and take over the point guard duties. Mike Quinn got away with a little bit of a hand check there, but no call. Both teams with only one team foul in that first quarter, so a very clean game as far as fouls are concerned. Nice inside move by number 20, Brandon Davis, getting inside. So Teaneck pulls to within 1 now as Mike Quinn's going to handle the ball for Wayne Hills. Brandel working on Hodge. Heskins, nice move inside on Barnes, but he's stuffed from behind. But it'll go back over to Wayne Hills.
Yeah, Wayne Hills is going to do their Patriot play, so expect to see Matt Heskins on a curl. Oh, Sam Presser on the right. Not there. They'll give it out to Fonte. Fonte's a really second option on that play.
Yeah, we've seen them run that same inbound play all year. They look for Heskins on the easy layup, and it's been there quite often for them, but not on that play. And if they can't find anyone, they have Fonte just bump out to that wing and flip it up to him, and no one's going to be able to get that high. So it's a nice option to have if you're Coach Catalano, to have a nice 6'7", 6'8" guy there to toss it up to every now and then. Here's Heskins going to get it to Brandel in the corner. Teaneck's defense has been a lot more tenacious here in the second quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach March may stress that in the huddle between the first and second quarters. Brandel gets inside now, puts up the layup, no good. Rebounded by Fonte. He gets stuffed. So rejections right and left if you're Teaneck. You got to like that. I mean, Hills has caught them over pursuing, and that's what you have to do if the team's going to be over aggressive on defense. 3-point attempt, no good, rebounded by Teaneck. Jumper is good by number 32, Jonathan Blue. So Teaneck takes their first lead in a while. They're up 13-12.
Maybe you expect Coach Cat to call a timeout after this play.
Especially if Teaneck scores. Layup is no good by Barnes. Foul will be charged to Heskins. No timeout call from Coach Catalano. So Owen Barnes is going to go to the line, looking to add to his 4-point total so far. It's been a pretty low-scoring first half, 13-12, almost midway through the second quarter. Barnes misses his first free throw. As number 1, Daquan Russ is going to check in for the first time, replacing number 22, Kyle Steinbergen. Barnes' second free throw is good. So 2-point lead for Teaneck as they're going to go into that full court press. And it's going to go out of bounds, so the press works well for Teaneck and forces a turnover on Hills' offensive end. So they're going to get the ball back with a 2-point lead, and if you're Wayne Hills right now, you're just trying to weather the storm.
Yeah, I mean, you want to keep it close going into halftime because if you're probably within 5 points, third and fourth quarter, you always have a chance. Especially Wayne Hills because they could score in bunches because, I mean, basically when they're hot, they could shoot threes, and they could shoot a lot of threes in bunches.
Nice inside move there by number 12, Owen Barnes. So he's got 7 points now to lead Teaneck, and they now lead by 4. They haven't been able to do much on offense with Quinn running the point. And they're going to call a push on number 32, Jonathan Blue. Teaneck's fans not happy with that call. As Joe, looking at the fans for both sides, Teaneck has a pretty big congregation here. I mean, in the pregame, they had nobody in the bleachers, and they've all showed up a little bit late, but they're here in force right now. Hills has a nice crowd as well coming out here. It's a good 30-minute drive from the school, but all the parents are shut up for this one.
Well, John, all the parents recognize the history in Teaneck basketball. Fans at home, if you're looking at our angle, you see on both walls behind the basket basketball championships in past years. So the parents and the kids probably take pride in this basketball program, and they've been successful and probably will be successful for years to come.
No question. Teaneck has a very rich basketball history, and these fans know that, and they're here to cheer on their 4th-seeded Highwaymen, who have had a very good season. They're obviously ranked 4th for a reason, and they have a huge crowd here today. And the last few minutes is the first time we've really heard any fan noise whatsoever. These Teaneck fans are really starting to get into it, and they're getting on the refs a lot. I mean, I really haven't seen what they've been complaining about, but obviously they've seen something they're not happy with. But Coach Catalano took a good time out here. They really needed to slow things down and regroup a little bit. Wayne Hills did. Like we said, they were up by as much as 6 in this game, and then Steinbergen hit a 3, cut it to 3 going into the second quarter. And now, so Teaneck, by my count, is on a 10-0 run right now, dating back to midway through the second quarter. So Hills are going to have to do something to put some points up before the break to, keep things close. I mean, they're only down by 4 right now, but their offense has been completely stuffed in the second half. As checking in for the first time is number 44, the senior Matt DeBlock. So he's getting his first action of the day as Brandel can't find anybody, and that's a 5-second violation on Wayne Hills. So obviously not the way you wanted to come out of the timeout if you're the Patriots.
It's probably the worst thing that could happen.
Justin Hodge working the point for Teaneck. Gets inside on Fonte, and Fonte stuffs him from behind. Goes out of bounds back to Teaneck.
John, I don't understand why Fonte just doesn't grab the ball there.
There's some confusion now with the call. I mean, it looked to clearly go out of bounds off Fonte. And one of the referees pointed Wayne Hills' way, but they're going to make the correct call and give it to Teaneck. I mean, the fans would have had a fit if they didn't give him that call. And now they're going to call a travel on number 20, Brandon Davis. So it's going to go back over to Wayne Hills. So a slew of turnovers coming out of the timeout. 4:16 to go here in the first half. They do get it inbounds this time to Brandel. They're going to call a push on number 3, Justin Hodge. It's the third team foul for Teaneck. So neither team in any foul trouble whatsoever. It's interesting the call that Coach Catalano has gone with, having Matt DeBlock come up top to try to help out with the inbounding. He's not exactly your finest ball handler, but that was a bad pass by Mike Quinn as that one went out of bounds.
Well, during the football season, Mike Quinn was throwing passes to Matt DeBlock, and they just couldn't connect there. I mean, they've had a lot of practice.
You think the communication between those two would be very good, and they are good friends off the court, but that pass was just way too far in front of Matt DeBlock. Not a good pass from Mike Quinn. Something we don't say too much about Mike on the football field, but a bad pass there trying to come in off the inbound. I mean, you think he'd be able to handle the pressure of a 5-second violation. I mean, he's used to having 250-pound men trying to take his head off, but I guess the pressure got to him a little bit right there. I mean, that pass was way off the mark. I mean, DeBlock just let it go because he didn't even think it was to him because it was so far in front of him, but getting inside is Blue, and Blue is fouled hard. He hit the ground really hard. So he's going to go to the line to shoot 2 with 3:49 left here in the second.
Surprisingly, we haven't seen many hard fouls from Chris Fonte this season. Maybe he's mad right now because you wouldn't like Chris Fonte when he's angry. Wouldn't you imagine that, John?
I would be scared of Chris Fonte's when he's angry, but I've never seen him angry, so.
Exactly.
Chris is a fun-loving kid, so I've never really seen him get too ticked off, but I'm sure if he were to get ticked off, I wouldn't want to be in his way. Blue hits 1 of 2 from the stripe. Heskins goes back to handle the point guard duties after Quinn did a horrible job. And that's going to go out of bounds. They're going to give it to Wayne Hills. They're going to say Barnes tipped it out of bounds. Here's Brandel in the corner, working off the screen from Fonte. Not even close to block the offensive rebound. That's what he does best. Brandel wide open again, pulls up from downtown. No good. There's Pressler for the offensive rebound. And they're going to call a foul on the floor on Teaneck. It's going to be on Hodge. Team's 4th. So Brandel's going to inbound from underneath.
John, I believe Wayne Hills has not scored in this quarter yet.
They haven't. I mean, they've been held scoreless in the first 4.5 minutes of this quarter as they couldn't find Heskins cutting inside. He did have a little separation, but they chose not to give it to him. Here's Brandel up top. And, Joe, we haven't seen Chris Jones for Teaneck in the game too much, so I guess that injury is bothering him. He started the game, but hasn't been in there really at all in the second quarter. So they're going to call a foul on Teaneck. So Chris Fonte's going to go to the line to shoot two. So Wayne Hills with their best chance to finally put some points on the board here in the second quarter. Fonte missed both. I guess the chorus of bricks in the Teaneck student section got to him. So he's only 1 of 4 from the line tonight. 3-point attempt is no good from Steinbergen. But the quick steal from Teaneck, they get it inside. Good interior defense from Wayne Hills coming off the turnover. 3-on-1 the other way. Pass inside of Pressler, puts it up, no good, misses the layup. So layups missed at both ends from both teams. And Russ is going to slow it up for Teaneck. Gives it to number 32, Jonathan Blue, who dials it up from downtown and hits the three, and Teaneck is now up by 8. This is the largest lead for either team tonight. Brandel gets inside, dishes to Fonte, but it's taken away by Teaneck. Just a horrible second quarter from Wayne Hills. They've been outscored 14-0 in this quarter. It's going to go out of bounds back to Wayne Hills, so a turnover there from Thompson.
Teaneck, unlike in the first quarter, playing very good defense in the second quarter, causing turnovers, leading to easy baskets. I mean, it doesn't hurt that Teaneck's making every three that they shoot.
Well, Joe, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. They've played phenomenal defense in the second quarter. They were very lax. I even mentioned it after the first quarter. They were a little bit lax on defense, and they've tightened things up here in the second quarter. Hills just hasn't gotten anything going. They haven't been able to get shots off, let alone quality shots. They've been forcing things down low. They haven't made layups. They're just panicking right now. But they pick up a foul right there on Teaneck. That's their 6th. So the next one, Hills will go to the line no matter what. Brandel gets it to Heskins. 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Hills just trying to avoid the goose egg right now. They get it down low to Brandel, and they're going to call a walk on Joe Brandel. So another turnover for Wayne Hills, and they're just all out of whack.
Yes, John, they're not playing very well right now. Plain and simple.
.140 to go in the second quarter. Matt DeBlock still in the game. He's been in there for a good 4 minutes now. Quinn's been on the bench all this time. They get it in the corner. This is Barnes getting inside, and Barnes with a nice dish to number 20, Brandon Davis. So Davis with his second basket of the quarter, and Teaneck now leads by 10.
Penetration, find the open man. It's that simple.
Teaneck has had their way with Wayne Hills' defense in this quarter. Brandel swings it to Heskins, back to Brandel. Pulls up from deep, air ball. And I don't know what Matt DeBlock was doing there. I mean, we said he's a good receiver, good safety, so he shouldn't have stone hands, but he did right there. I mean, he had the uncontested rebound, and he bounced it off the floor, and it went out of bounds. I mean, I said out of whack before. They're just out of sync, out of everything right now. I mean, there's 50 seconds left in this quarter, and they've yet to score. And Teaneck's going to hold the ball right now, up by 10. This is Barnes with 30 seconds to go. You wonder if they're going to hold it for the last shot. Here goes Barnes getting inside, puts it up and in. Nice athletic move by Owen Barnes to get inside. So with 14 seconds to go, Hills is going to try to cut it to single digits. 10 seconds, 9. Brandel gets it to Heskins in the corner, wide open for 3. Heskins dials it up and hits. So Matt Heskins cuts it to 9 going into the break. Long half-court shot almost went for Barnes. But that's going to do it for the first half of action. So Heskins hits a very clutch 3 at the end of the first half to keep it close. But at the end of 2 quarters, the score is Teaneck 24, Wayne Hills 15.
John, if I was Wayne Hills right now, I'd be embarrassed. Only scoring 3 points in 1 quarter in a state game.
And they did it in the last 30 seconds.
The last 10 seconds. And having such a great first quarter before that. I mean, if you're Coach Cat, you got to be disappointed with your team right now.
Absolutely. They played a great first quarter. I mean, Coach Goldstein's giving Fonte a talking to right now, and I'm sure Coach Catalano is going to give them a very stern talking to in the locker room. They came out great. They were leading 12-9 at the end of the first. They were hitting their shots. They were penetrating, playing great defense, and then it all just went out the window in that second quarter. But I think that 3 from Matt Heskins was just really big to cut it to single digits. But that'll do it for the first half of action here from Teaneck. We'll be back with the second half of this state playoff game after this. Hello and welcome back to Teaneck High School for today's North 1 Group 3 first round matchup between the 4th-seeded Teaneck Highwaymen and the 13th-seeded Wayne Hills Patriots. And if you notice, Wayne Hills is coming on the court as we speak. The clock is currently at 0. They didn't warm up to start the second half. They're walking straight to the bench. So they obviously got a long, long lecture from Coach Catalano in the halftime break. But, Joe, while we have a moment,
John.
It's worth talking about how cool Teaneck High School is. This is the most awesome place I've been to in a long, long time. We got here, and we couldn't get in. We didn't know where the gym was. And one of the janitors here at Teaneck High School let us in, gave us a secret escort through the school, unlocked like 6 doors for us, and let us in the high-security entrance here at Teaneck Gymnasium. And then they get here, and they, like I said, they let us in the secret entrance with the security guards and everything. At halftime, they have full meals here to serve to you. They have a beautiful snack bar, which we took advantage of and bought some chocolate bars. I mean, and they're just such hospitable people, and we just have to give a shout out to the Teaneck people.
John, I agree with everything you just said, ma'am. I mean, no offense to the Wayne Hills janitors, but janitor that we saw here in Teaneck, coolest janitor you'll ever meet.
No offense to the Hills janitors, but they got nothing on these guys. So 18 seconds in, I can't do math. It's 24-15, the same score as it was at halftime. Heskins missed a bank in the lane. So Teaneck has the ball right now, up by 9. They're not going to be in too much of a rush because they're up by 9, and Hills can't score right now. 3-point attempt is no good, rebounded by Mike Quinn. Brandel has the ball now, gives it to Heskins coming around the screen. Heskins gets inside, dishes to Fonte, and they're going to call a traveling violation on number 50, Chris Fonte. So another turnover from Wayne Hills. And it's going to go back over to Teaneck. And Joe, I think we can both agree that turnovers was a big part of the second quarter for Wayne Hills, and it's something they're going to have to take out of their game in the second half if they want to come back.
Yes, because most of Teaneck's points in the first half were on turnovers if it was a layup or a 3-point shot.
Nice athletic move from number 22, Kyle Steinbergen. who got inside for that layup. So Teaneck pushes the lead back up to double digits. It's 26-15. Brandel double teamed in the corner. He can't get rid of it, and they're going to call a jump ball. It's going to stay with Wayne Hills, however. But an aggressive defensive play from Teaneck. I mean, their defense has been stifling. Hills has scored, I mean, by my estimation, 3 points. I know they've scored 3 points in this span, but 3 points in about, I want to say, 14 minutes of play. I mean, they haven't scored in forever.
It's embarrassing.
Brandel off the pick from Fonte gets inside, pulls up from the free throw line, misses that one. Fonte, the offensive rebound, puts it up and in. Nice inside play from Chris Fonte to pick up some garbage points and cut the lead back down to 9.
He's got to be doing that the whole second half, John. He's got to step up his game.
Heskins gets the steal. 3-on-1 for Hills. Dish up ahead to Quinn, who lays it in. So nice fast break from Wayne Hills, and this is the closest they've been in a while. They cut it down to 7.
Another turnover leading to a layup.
Shot attempt is no good. Pressler comes away with the long rebound. So 2 quick baskets from Wayne Hills gets them right back in this game. It's 26-19. Nice pass from Heskins, finds Quinn in the corner. No good. Fonte the rebound. Quinn comes away with it, gives it to Pressler. The open 10-footer is good. Sam Pressler with the 3rd basket in a row for Wayne Hills, and they've immediately cut it right back down to 5.
See what a little hustle does for you, John. Chris Fonte getting the rebound, giving it up to Mike Quinn, and Sam's open for a jump shot, and he'll make it every time.
Pressler with 5 points now. Scoring's been balanced for Wayne Hills. Getting inside is Steinbergen. They're going to call a block on Wayne Hills. They're going to call it on Pressler, and they're going to say Steinbergen was in the act of shooting. So he's going to go to the line to take 2. 26-21 Highwaymen. And Joe, as Steinbergen takes these free throws, I'm going to ask you, what is a Highwayman?
Well, John, as intelligent I am, you know, I'm a very smart person. But I have no idea what that is.
Well, on the back of their sweatshirts and such, there is some type of cowboy, some human being riding some type of 4-legged animal with a 3-pointed hat and a club in one hand. So, I don't know. You connect the dots. I'm just telling you the facts. And we're just going to keep guessing what a Highwayman is. Oh, and to add to my point about how cool Teaneck is, their warm-up jackets are short-sleeved and have hoods.
You can't beat that.
That says it all right there.
We will say no more.
Brandel can't find anyone. Lobs it up to Fonte. Brandel around the screen. Gives it to Fonte down low again. Fonte puts it up. Stuffed by the rim. Couldn't get it quite over that iron. Nice inside move by Owen Barnes. And he leads all scoring in this game individually. By my count, he has 11 points so far. So Teaneck extends that lead back up to 8. Brandel gets inside, dishes it to Fonte, lays it up, and it doesn't go. Fonte's had some trouble finishing tonight. Barnes gets it to Hodge in the corner. Back to Barnes. Drives on Heskins and Fonte, puts it up, no good. Good rebound inside by number 20, Brandon Davis. But Quinn was able to get 2 hands on the basketball. But the possession arrow favors Teaneck, so it's going to stay right here with 4:22 to go in the third. Steinbergen handles the ball. Teaneck up by 8. North 1 Group 3 state playoffs, first round here. The 4th-seeded Teaneck, 13th-seeded Wayne Hills. Wayne Hills trying to pull the upset. They had a close game earlier in the season, like I mentioned, where they lost to this Teaneck team in a close one. Steinbergen gets inside. They swing it inside to Davis. Can't get that one to go. The rebound to Fonte, and Brandle's able to help him out and come away with a 3-on-2 fast break. Brandle pulls up from 18. It's partially deflected from behind. Teaneck coming back now with numbers. The layup's no good. They get the offensive rebound, and there's Owen Barnes once again to lay it in. Barnes has 13, and Teaneck now leads it by 10 once again.
You know, Joe Brandle on a 3-on-1 shooting a pull-up jump shot. You know, shouldn't happen.
Yeah, that was
someone's got to be open.
That was a bad decision by Joe Brandle. He had a 3-on-1, and he pulls up from 18 feet and gets stuffed from behind. He's got to feel that pressure coming from behind, but he made up for it right there with the layup. So Brandle cuts the lead back down to 8. And if you're Hills, you got to try to get it within 6 going into the fourth quarter. But there again is number 32, Donathan Blue, to finish for Teaneck, so they extend it right back to double digits. Hodge got smacked in the face, but he comes away with the loose ball. Fast break up ahead for Teaneck. And number 22, Kyle Steinbergen, got absolutely leveled by Chris Fonte. So he's going to go to the line to shoot 2 and extend that 10-point lead.
You know, John, Fonte's a big boy. Yeah, he didn't mean to foul him like that. Things just happen when you're 6'7", 300 pounds, you know?
I mean, Steinbergen's probably about, I don't know, 6 foot 180. So Fonte's got over 100 pounds on him, and when two forces of matter meet, the lighter one's going to go down. But Steinbergen is able to shake off the pain and hit the free throw as DeBlock's going to come in to spell Heskins. So it's the first time Matt Heskins has been taken out of the game today. Steinbergen knocks down a pair. So Teaneck with that 12-point lead. So after Hills made a little bit of a run to cut it to 5, Teaneck's gotten it right back up to 12. So at the very least, Hills has to get it to single digits going into the fourth, and they're not going to have much of a chance because their scoring hasn't been there all night. I mean, they have 23 points late in the third quarter. Brandle from 3, no good. He hasn't hit one all day. That's his specialty, and he hasn't been able to do it at all. They're going to call another jump ball. It's going to go to Wayne Hills. 2:27 to go in the third. Brandle's going to inbound. Lobs it up to Chris Fonte. Brandle in the corner. And Joe Brandle's hacked by a pair of Highwaymen. Justin Hodge didn't like the call. He's complaining to his father in the front row.
Foul number 3, Justin Hodge, his third, team second.
Fonte to Pressler, back to Quinn. Brandle off the screen in the corner from DeBlock, no good. Fonte the offensive board, and he puts it in. Chris Fonte with a 3-point play opportunity, and he's going to go to the line to try to cut it back down to single digits.
You know, you have to be impressed by Fonte's rebounding in this game, though he's not been able to put the ball back up and make it in, but, you know, he has been rebounding the ball offensively and getting putbacks.
Well, maybe things are starting to turn into Hills' favor because Fonte just shot a horrible free throw, and it somehow didn't have any bounce off the rim and went in. But just as I say that, Teaneck gets a steal. They battle for it down low, and they're going to call a foul on Fonte. He didn't like the call. But number 32, Jonathan Blue's going to go to the line for Teaneck. That's Fonte's third, so he's going to have to be careful for the next 5 minutes or so, because if he picks one up, he's going to have to come out of the game. Blue's first free throw is good. So Teaneck's back up by 10. Blue rattles home the second. So it's 37-26 Teaneck. Quinn lost the ball and got it back. It's going to be knocked out of bounds by Barnes. Joe Brandle's going to inbound. The senior finds Matt to block. Brandle curls around, kicks it out to Pressler. Pressler back to Brandle. Brandel off the high screen from Fonte gives it to the block in the corner, back to Brandel. Can't find much on offense right now for Wayne Hills. And that's going to be a backcourt violation. A bad pass from Mike Quinn. Second time I've said that tonight. And it's going to go back over to Teaneck. So, I mean, things just not going in Wayne Hills' favor right now. Down by 11 with 1:30 to go here in the third. This is Justin Hodge exploring for some room to maneuver. Wide open three off the screen for number 22, Kyle Steinbergen, and he knocks it down. That could be the dagger.
Dagger, John. We got a whole quarter left. What dagger?
He just extended the lead from 11 to 14, and the way Wayne Hills is scoring, to me, that was the biggest play in this game so far. And they're going to call a moving screen on Chris Fonte. That's going to be his fourth foul, so he's going to have to come to the bench. As checking in for the first time today is Gazim Husseini. We haven't seen him in a meaningful game ever. I mean, I haven't been to the last few games, but in the 6 or 7 games I've been to this season, Gazim hasn't been in there. But he's getting in right now. He took out Pressler. Heskins came back in for Fonte, so the small lineup out there for Hills right now. Tallest guy is Mike Quinn at 6'3". So a very small lineup for Wayne Hills. 45 seconds to go. 14-point lead for the Highwaymen. This is Owen Barnes with 22 seconds to go. Eventually, Hills is going to have to go into a pressure defense because Teaneck can take all the time in the world to put up a shot. No shot clock in high school basketball. This is Steinbergen, almost lost it. And they're going to call a foul on Mike Quinn. And something just happened to the clock. I don't know if they've picked up on it yet, but it says 6 minutes and 49 seconds right now.
That's because there's 6 seconds, .49.
I've never seen that before, where they have the hundredths of a second. 2 seconds, 1. Going inside is Teaneck for the score. That was Barnes, and things are just getting out of hand for Wayne Hills right now. They trail 42 to 26. Joe, do you see them coming back or having any chance in the fourth quarter?
No, because no one's making a shot. I mean, I think they should give the ball to Sam Pressler. Tell you the truth, I mean, he's only missed 1 shot tonight. Man,
I mean, yeah.
It doesn't look good.
Pressler's 3 for 4. I mean, we'd just be stating the obvious if we said it doesn't look good right now because Hills opened up with a great first quarter, and ever since it's been a nightmare. I mean, you thought the long talk at halftime might knock some sense into them. They had that nice little 6-0 spurt there in the third to cut it to 5, but it's been all Teaneck's ever since. I mean, this is a state game. For the seniors, it's going to be their last game ever. Of course, Brandel and of course, Quinn and Fonte are going to go on to play college football, so this isn't going to be devastating to their athletic career, but for Joe Brandel, it might be because, I mean, this is his sport. He's one of the captains of this team. He's the leading scorer. He doesn't want to go out like this. I mean, he only has 4 points tonight. And it's just a disappointing end to the season for Wayne Hills unless they can pull off a miracle right now. As Coach Goldstein's going to complain to the officials out there, he came out of the huddles too early because Coach Catalano obviously has a lot to tell his players. Teaneck's ready to inbound the ball, and Hills is still chilling in the huddle as they finally break it for possibly the last time this year, unless there's a timeout called. But Gazim is going to stay in the game for Wayne Hills, so an interesting call there to keep Pressler on the bench. And with Pressler having the hot hand, I mean, you mentioned it, Joe, it makes you wonder if that wrist injury is still bothering him.
It makes you wonder, but like we said, he's made shots tonight, so maybe he's fighting through the pain.
I mean, Pressler seems to be all right. He's wearing 2 knee braces, but I don't think he has any knee problems.
John, those aren't knee braces.
Osgood
knee
Schlatter
bands.
guards, bands, whatever you want to call them. He's got something medical on his knee, but that's not an issue. He's been battling a wrist injury all season, forearm, I'm not quite sure, but he's worn a brace to school a few times, so it's obviously bothering him. But I mean, he's shooting 3 for 4 tonight, so I don't think he could be in too much pain. Maybe they're just trying to give Kazim some minutes and rest up Pressler for the last little stand. DeBlock gets stuffed hard by number 5, Chris Jones. And speaking of people who have been injured, Chris Jones is in the game for the first time since the first quarter. I mean, you said Jones dropped 30 on Hills when they played the regular season. I mean, he's probably about 6'4", so he's a big kid, and if he's got any type of talent, he's obviously going to put some points on the board at that height. DeBlock misses the first free throw, as ending all speculation is Sam Pressler as he checks right back in for Kazim. So DeBlock's second free throw is no good. He misses a pair. Hills can't afford to not take advantage of any opportunities. 3-point attempt from Barnes, no good. Rebounded by Quinn. Here's Pressler on the right wing. Tries to get inside. Nice move from him. Puts it up and one. A nice play by Sam Pressler to create some energy down low and hit the tough fadeaway. And he's going to go to the line and try to make it a 3-point play.
You know, it's one of the first times I've seen Sam Pressler be selfish for once and try to go to the basket, you know. And when you see him in warm-ups, he has a sick pregame warm-up, John. I mean, if you weren't watching me, he takes shots. You know, he just does whatever he can to prepare himself for the game. And usually you just see jump shots during the game. You don't see any of the other repertoire, like dribbling. So he did it there, and it was impressive.
Yeah, Sam has a pretty shot, and when it's on, he's a very, very good shooter. And we've seen it tonight. He's got 7 points. He hasn't taken shots. There he goes again. Coach Cat obviously told him to take some shots because he's been making them. He puts that one up in the lane and gets it to go. So Sam Pressler's starting to heat up a little bit. Cuts the lead down to 12 with 6.5 minutes to go. Here comes Steinbergen around a screen. Finds Jones. Driving is Barnes. Puts it up and in. Heskins tried to take the charge, but he didn't get the call. And Barnes made a nice play driving baseline to extend the lead back to 14.
John, early in the season, I saw him play the JV game before the varsity game. You know, he's obviously made improvements up to this point.
A nice play by Matt Heskins to get inside, doing his best Owen Barnes impression right there. So the two junior guards are starting to turn it on for Wayne Hills. I mean, they've been missing that all night from them. They haven't taken shots. They haven't scored. And they're starting to do a little bit of it in the fourth quarter, but you got to wonder if it's too late.
Well, John, you got to think about it because they're going to be the stars next year. They're going to be the Joe Russo and Steve Lacarica of past. I mean, they're going to take the majority of the shots. So they're going to have to make big shots all the time.
That was Davis to Barnes, cross court to Steinbergen. Steinbergen's floater, not even close. Rebound to Heskins. He doesn't have any numbers, so he's going to give it to Quinn, who's going to slow it up. 5:38 to go. Hills trails by 12. Pressler wide open for 3, no good. Long rebound, beautiful pass up ahead to Barnes, who lays it up and can't get it to go. A beautiful outlet pass to Barnes, threading the needle between two Wayne Hills defenders and leading Barnes in the process. And now Owen Barnes is going to go to the line to try to add to his game-high 17. He's had a very good game. Hits the first free throw. And Joe, I haven't seen this too much ever in basketball, but Owen Barnes is wearing long sleeves.
Actually, John, I went to the Patterson Catholic DePaul game 2 weekends ago, and multiple players on that team were wearing long sleeves. So I have seen it before. I find it extremely odd. I don't see any reason for it, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, Patterson Catholic's obviously one of the best teams in the country, let alone the state. They're going to call a push here on Teaneck, but I don't know, maybe trying to emphasize some lanky arms, look cool. I guess that's what it's all about. But, I mean, it's obviously worked for Barnes. It's kept his arms hot because he's been hitting all his shots. He's got 19 points to lead all scorers in this game. No one else is even close to 19. Pressler gets inside, Makes a nice move, puts up the 8-foot floater, and banks it home. So like I said, Sam Pressler's heating up and cuts it back down to 12 with 5 minutes to go. Fast break for Teaneck, and they're going to call a foul on Pressler, who was trying to get back.
Teaneck breaking that full court press with ease, getting to the line.
That was the 7th team foul for Wayne Hills, so Teaneck's going to be in the bonus the rest of the way, as is Wayne Hills. Teaneck has 6 fouls right now. So maybe that's something Wayne Hills could try to take advantage of, try to draw some fouls, get to the free throw line to score points without the clock running. But Steinbergen hit his first free throw. Misses the second. So he's 4 for 6 from the line today, Steinbergen. He's got 12 points. That's the second most by anybody in this game. Pressler leads Wayne Hills with 11. Fonte has 10, but he's not in the game right now. Long three from Brandel, and there it is. Joe Brandel finally hits the three, gets the monkey off his back. Coach Catalano calls an immediate timeout. And Joe, if Wayne Hills can start hitting some threes, they can get back in this pretty quick.
Well, absolutely, but they haven't been hitting threes. I mean, they hit one right there. I mean, with 4:40 left, they're only down by 10. It can happen.
It can happen. I mean, if Brandel gets hot, he can hit threes. We know Pressler's hot. Heskins can hit threes. I mean, that's only Wayne Hills' third three of the night. They usually live and die by the three. So far tonight, they've died by it. But it can bring them back to life and resurrect them a little bit here because they're down by 10. It's been a low-scoring game. It feels like they're down by more because Teaneck's been dominating the last 2.5 quarters. But they're only down by 10. You hit 2 threes and it's anybody's ball game. 4:40 to go in the fourth. So it is crunch time now. Full court press implemented by Coach Catalano and Wayne Hills. They need to do this. Long pass up ahead to Steinberger. Pulls up from 12 feet wide open and hits it. So Kyle Steinberger has 14 now, and Teaneck extends it back to 12. Here's Quinn driving baseline, lays it up, no good. But he's fouled from behind by number 20, Brandon Davis.
Saw a little glimpse of Quinn in the Valley game, going to the basket many times and getting layups and getting to the line. We just saw it there. And, you know, Mike Quinn, his free throw shooting has been a little bit erratic all season. I mean, he's airballed a couple free throws, so he's going to try to put it right through the net
So
this time.
what Joe was trying to say is brace yourself. He banked it, so whatever works. But like you said, Quinn had a great game against Wayne Valley. I believe he had 12 points, which I think is the most he's ever had. He's not really much of a scorer. He's a very athletic kid. Obviously the star quarterback of the football team. And he gets 2 lucky rolls, so Mike Quinn gets both the fall, cuts it back to 10. But Quinn also had a very, very good game against Bergen Tech. I was there for the second half of that one. I missed it, but in the first half, Mike Quinn threw down a dunk in the face of a Bergen Tech player. So at only 6'3", the ability to dunk in someone's face in the game is impressive. I mean, I heard Quinn brought down the house with that one. That was, I mean, everyone was talking about that the next day, and you don't see it too much in high school, but Quinn threw it down like he said he would all year. But nevertheless, Davis is at the line. No good on the first.
You know, John, I have to say, he probably has the best rotation on the basketball in his shot on the team. Do you agree?
I haven't really analyzed the rotation of shots ever, but his shot does look nice. As that shot looked nice, Matt Heskins hits a 3, and like we said, the three-point basket can get Hills right back into it. They cut it to 7. This is the closest they've been since early in the third, but a nice play on the other end by Barnes, as Teaneck's going to take a timeout with 3:51 to go. So Barnes answers Heskins, but Hills trails by 9.
John, you can make all the threes you want, but it all starts on the defensive end. You got to get stops. You can't let Teaneck score any more points.
That's a great point, Joe. You're absolutely right. Hills has to get stops. They have no choice. They have to hold Teaneck under 55 for this game. They are 51 right now. Hills is at 42. I mean, they haven't had the inside presence that they should with Chris Fonte. So right now, they're just going to have to hope they hit threes, and they've hit some recently, which gives them a ray of hope to try to stay in this state tournament. That 3 by Matt Heskins put him into double digits with 10 points. Chris Fonte also has 10. Sam Pressler with 11. Joe Brandel has 7. Mike Quinn has 4. So that's all the scoring for Wayne Hills. It's been low scoring for them. To run through Teaneck's points, Owen Barnes has 23. Steinberger 14. Davis 4. Jonathan Blue has 10, and William Thompson has 2. Thompson hasn't been in the game hardly at all, even though he is the tallest player on the team, but probably the fact that Fonte hasn't done too well tonight is the reason they've been able to afford to take him out. Quinn handles the ball, 3:30 to go. I'm a little bit surprised to see the block in as a steal is taken away by Teaneck. They come back the other way. Layup from Hargraves, who comes in for the first time, and it's back up to 11.
John, you could hear from the stands that a Teaneck defender slapped Matt DeBlanc on the wrist. I mean, that's got to be a foul.
I got to agree with you, Joe, but they didn't call it. Teaneck's been complaining about the lack of fouls all night. Brandel gets inside, puts it up and one. Nice play from Joe Brandel to get inside. Cuts it back down to 9 with 3:08 to go. Checking in for the first time today is Anthony Upshaw, number 4 for Teaneck. So they've gone to 2 guys who have not seen action at all tonight in the last couple minutes, which is surprising. I guess they're going to go with their defensive lineup. That's what my best guess would be about putting in fresh players late in the fourth. I mean, they're going to come in cold, so you wouldn't expect them to score. So they have to be coming in for defense. But Brandel hit the free throw, so Hills trails by 8 with 3 minutes to go. Hills is going to have to try to force some turnovers here. Brandel now has 10 for the game. Barnes gets inside. Nice move. Owen Barnes schooling the Wayne Hills defense. Got through 3 defenders and put it in the basket.
That's just pure poetry right there. I've used that line all season, and that's what it was.
Brandel from 3. Air ball goes to Pressler, who lays it up no good. Offensive board to Quinn, and it goes out of bounds back to Wayne Hills. But Barnes has had a day, that's for sure. 23 points for Owen Barnes.
You know, John, you know what I've noticed? Wayne Hill is scoring 15 points in the first half. They have scored 30 in the second half, so Coach Gat's got to be happy with the offense that they've shown and probably made a lot of adjustments at halftime.
Heskins an ugly long 3. I mean, that, in my opinion, that's going to about do it. Hills down by 10 with 2:20 to go. They're going to have to start fouling pretty soon. Getting inside is Barnes. Oh, man. This kid is lethal. He slices through everybody. He's got a nice big grin on his face, and deservedly so. He is torching Wayne Hills' defense in the second half, as he has the whole night. Brandel puts it up. The bank is not even close. Fonte's going to get called for a bear hug. They're going to call a jump ball. All right, we're Wayne Hills fans. We'll take it, but Fonte had Thompson by the throat and was lifting him off the ground. The last time I checked, you don't normally call a jump ball in that situation. But Wayne Hills will take it. Down by 12, 1:48 left. Nice pass to Fonte. He puts it up and doesn't get it to go as he goes to the ground. Bodies flying everywhere.
John, I think Wayne Hills is starting to lose it. Starting to get out of whack on offense.
Yeah, no question about it. They've been out of whack since the last couple minutes of the first quarter. They've picked it up a little bit here in this fourth. They've scored some points, but they called a foul on Sam Pressler. I did not see him anywhere near that play. Maybe he was away from the ball. I don't know, but I'm sure Wayne Hills will take it because they do need to stop the clock. So William Thompson's going to go to the line to shoot 2. I'm sorry, 1 and 1. That was the 9th team foul for Wayne Hills. So the next one will be 2 shots. Thompson's free throw, no good. So Hill's taking advantage of that 1-and-1. Quinn got the rebound. Brandel coming back is going to try to create some separation on Hodge. Quinn gets inside, kicks it out to Pressler, wide open from 3 in the corner, and Sam Pressler hits it. So Hills gets it back down to single digits. It's 57-48. 9-point game with 1:31 to go. Coach Cat calls a timeout.
Sam's hit everything tonight. How many points has he scored, John? You're the one that keeps stats.
Sam Pressler has 14 points right now to lead Wayne Hills. He's got 9 of those 14 in this fourth quarter. So, I mean, if you're Wayne Hills, you got to get Sam open. He's the only one hitting shots. Heskins has hit a few. Brandel's hit one or two here and there. But Pressler's got the hot hand, and you got to ride him to the finish line right now if you're Wayne Hills. And I'm sure that's what Coach Cat is telling him. So let's reset things for you. 1:31 to go, 57-48. Teaneck. This is the first round of the North 1 Group 3 state playoffs. So single elimination format means you lose and you're done. Your season's over. As Darius Haber is going to check in for the first time for Wayne Hills to try to give a foul. Haber's a quick hit on defense as they torch Fonte at the other end. And laying it in is number 4, Anthony Upshaw. I don't know what Coach Cat was doing leaving Chris Fonte in the game right there. Fonte has 4 fouls. He's your least quick player on the team, if you will. And he always takes Fonte out for defense in those type of situations. He always put Quinn in. He put Haber in. Why not put anyone? I mean, Corey Vanderplu's on the bench. You got Kazim. Or even just leave your starting 5 in. Who cares? Coach Catalano never leaves Fonte in those situations. And a good job by the inbounder to recognize that and give the full-length pass to Upshaw, who scored his first basket of the game right there, and extend the lead back to 11. I mean, the coaches are getting on Fonte, but I think it's their fault for leaving Fonte in the game. You know he can't run with Upshaw, so why is he even in at that point? I mean, Coach Cat hasn't been shy to do quick substitutions, offensive versus defensive. And I don't know why he didn't do it. And they're going to blow the whistle. I'm not quite sure for what. The referee is talking to Coach Goldstein. Heskins inbounds to Quinn. They got to hurry up. They're down by 11. Brandel open for 3. Puts it up, no good. Rebounded by Teaneck. That's going to just about do it. Oh, Owen Barnes is playing games with Wayne Hills right now. He's having a ball. He's going to go to the line to shoot 2 after Fonte hacked him. That'll be his 5th, and he'll be out of the game, I believe. And that is it. Fonte knows it. That's his 5th and final foul. He's disqualified from the game. He'll head to the bench, and that's going to be a career. Hills is going to give Fonte a nice round of applause as he heads to the bench for the final time in his Wayne Hills basketball career. And not just basketball, but that's going to end the athletic career of Chris Fonte here at Wayne Hills High School, and it was definitely a successful one. Full scholarship to the University of Rutgers to play football as Barnes hits the free throw. So, Joe, I mean, I'm disappointed. I loved watching Fonte play football and basketball. He's just a monster. You just laugh every time you see him go up against a kid that's half his size. And it's not going to be as fun next year watching basketball and football games without Chris Fonte.
It will be different, but, John, we're so good at broadcasting, I think we can make the adjustment.
I have no doubt, but it's just making the adjustment as a fan that's going to be a little bit difficult. But Heskins hits that one using his strong left hand. So Heskins now has 12 points, but Hills is down by 11 with 1:01 to go. So this one's all but over. So I don't want to give false information and say this is the last game ever. They might have a regular season game left. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't think they do. So as far as I know, this is the last game of the season for Wayne Hills. So Joe, they said their record was 12-13. They're going to drop to 12-14. Not a good year, in my opinion. I thought this team could definitely be over 500 and at least make the quarterfinals of states. It's going to be the 3rd year in a row they lose in the first round of the state playoffs. This team just can't get over the hump right now. I mean, they've had great players the last 2 years in Steve Lacarica, Joe Russo, Travis Delavolpe, Justin Horahan. They've returned some good players this year. most people probably expected about a 500 season from Wayne Hills. I expected more. I thought they could definitely win at least one game in states. They got a poor seed because of a poor regular season. As here comes Upshaw again, who lays it in. Brandel a long three. He hits it. So Joe Brandel cuts it back to 10 with 53.69 seconds on the board. Like I said before, I've never seen that before where they put the hundredth of a second on the board. But Joe, you've seen so many games. I've never seen a fan so dedicated in my life. You probably went to 3/4 of the games this year.
More.
So your thoughts on the season as a whole?
Well, John, you know, they lived it. They shot the ball. Their shooting was erratic. The whole season, they never had that one guy that could take over a game. Unlike they have the past couple years with Steve Lockerick and Joe Russo. And you know what? Next year, it's going to be another struggle because they're going to have probably 2 or 3 now that they're sophomores. They're going to be starting, so it's going to be a very unexperienced team.
I mean, Joe, you make a great point that I didn't even think of, that this team lacked a dominant scorer. I mean, scoring didn't seem like something to me that was going to be a problem this year, and it wasn't a major problem, but the fact that you said they are lacking a dominant scorer that they can count on down the stretch to take over games. They had that last year mainly in Joe Russo. Steve Lockerick was the leading scorer, but he did choke in some big games. But Brandel was the leading scorer. He was the leader of this team, but down the stretch he wasn't always there for them. And they had good scoring in Heskins, Pressler, and even Quinn, and of course Fonte. But like, I didn't even think of that, and that's a good point. And also you mentioned next year's going to be a struggle, and unfortunately I'm going to have to agree with you there. They lose 3 starters, 4 out of their big 6. So really Heskins and Pressler are the stars of this team next year. They're going to have to single-handedly lead this team. Their only inside presence is going to be Corey Vanderplug, who has minimal varsity experience, as does Gazim and Haber, and whoever else steps up from the sophomore ranks to play. I expect to see John Giardello and Jimmy Kenny get some action next year, but it is going to be a struggle. I mean, the goal for this year's team was to be probably at least an 8 seed in the states. I'll be at least 3 or 4 games over 500. They weren't going to win states, let's face it, but they were supposed to be a very good team, and they weren't. They were average. 12 and 14 is not that good. And next year, a goal next year for them would really only be to be about 500. I hate to be a pessimist, and I'm as optimistic as they come, but I mean, you just have to face the facts if you're Coach Catalano. Your tallest guy, like I said, is going to be Vanderplug at about 6'2", maybe 6'3", we'll give him. So you lose that big advantage down low that they always had with Fonte. Like I said, Heskins and Pressler are going to have to handle the load by themselves. And it's going to be an uphill struggle for them. Brandel chucks up a 3, no good. I mean, the only thing you could count on to add some extra help is players that are not in the program right now. Kids that play backyard basketball at the Y or whatever to try to join the team and add some help. I know Max Zager's a kid that's a great player. I don't know if he's going to be interested. He made the team freshman year, and he's a great player. But that's what Wayne Hills needs. But that's going to do it for this game. 8 seconds to go. Teaneck's going to win this one by a final score of 71-53, barring a great shot by Mike Quinn. So that's going to do it. Teaneck wins this state game by 18 points. So, Joe, let's stop talking about next year because this year just came to an end. The final game of the careers of Joe Brandel, Matt Ziblock, Mike Quinn, and Chris Fonte. They've had good careers here at Wayne Hills. They've been loyal players to the program, and you got to tip your cap to them for being so dedicated year in and year out. They played 4 years in this program. You just can't say enough about those kids. They've had great careers here, like I said. Obviously, a disappointing end for them in this game, but you know they're not gonna look back on this game and say, "Oh, it was a nightmare." They had a nice career here, so just talk about what you think those guys meant to the program, and talk about this season coming to an end.
Well, obviously they were big parts of the last season and this season. I mean, Chris Fonte, a 3-year starter, you know, he just played great throughout his 3 years. Was a dominant force in the paint. Joe Brandel was the sharpshooter. from last year and this year. Basically, was their leading scorer. I think averaged about 17 points, and he made threes all over the place. Matt Zaplark, a spark off the bench, his junior and senior year, getting rebounds, getting loose balls, and doing whatever he can to help the team win. And Mike Quinn, you know, he loved basketball. I mean, he's obviously going to go to Elon as a football star, but he loves basketball, and he played hard throughout his 4 years of Wayne Hills basketball. So you got to give it up to them.
You can't say enough about those 4 seniors. Had great careers here. It's the end of the Chris Fonte era, the beginning of the Matt Heskin/Sam Pressler era. I'm looking forward to next year's season to call some games. It's been a pleasure calling games with you, Joe, all season. Also, Nick Appaluccio and Anthony Scadella helped us out. But, I mean, we've broadcasted, I believe, about 7 games this year for Channel 77. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. It's going to be the last time you hear us on the microphone until the fall when we do some football games, because Joe and I both have baseball season coming up starting on Friday. So it's going to be, I'm going to miss it. It's going to be about 5-6 months right now without me on the mic. It's going to be tough. But
Sean, stop making me cry, man.
I'm holding it back, Joe. I'm going to save the tears for after we sign off. But it's time to say goodbye. That'll do it for the 2010 high school basketball season. Hills fall short today against Teaneck by a final score of 71-53. For our wonderful cameraman, Kyle Katine, my marvelous announcer, Joseph Morgan Rapp, and myself, John Vittas, I would like to say thank you to the Wayne Hills Club for giving us opportunity to call these games. And that'll do it here from Teaneck High School. That's a wrap.
We're going to suck next year.